over 14 years ago, 14 years ago, 1992, my cousin and I got together and decided we'd like to build a representation of something that we'd always loved, which was the withered arm. I can remember, I come from Battersea, so I can remember standing on platform 8 at Clapham Junction, seeing all these trains going to the West Country with names of places like Bude, Exeter, Padstow, Wadebridge, and in those days you never got out a lot. You went on a holiday for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and you went by train, you didn't have a car, so you went where your parents took you. And I learnt most of my geography from these visits to engine sheds, looking at a magazine, and you'd see somewhere in the Loon Valley, and you'd think, well, it's a Jubilee, so it must be on the Midland, and you'd look up on a map, and your geography was enhanced tremendously because of that. This was somewhere I never went, unfortunately, and I just wanted to recreate something that would look as if it was meandering along a coast. Put it to Jerry, he agreed he'd like to be the other half, and we'd do it. And he had some wallpaper which turned out to be 51'6" long in length. And wallpaper is a great medium because you can cross it, and nothing's written in stone, you can cross it out and do what you like. But you can stand over it and with a pencil just allow it to flow in a manner that you hope, I mean you don't get the details, but you get a rough idea of what you're trying to do. What I wanted to do mainly was to create a layout whereby the railway had been created second, the landscape was there first, although you do it the other way round. And I'm not sure whether we achieved it, but that's what we set out to. I wanted a town at this end, but we didn't have the space, and this board with the town scene on it was only created last year between June and October, and was added on. And also we added 8 inches on the back because you had this board where the split is going up to where that house was and along, which gave you a back scene of anything from 1 inch to a ½ inch, which was no depth at all, became very straight, but again it looked all right on the drawing, but reality it wasn't that wonderful. So I asked Jerry and Mike, who's the chap in yellow there, if they would build another board and put some fillets in so that we could give some added depth. And it just gave a bit of an ending to the railway on a hill, because most railways like Padstow ended where the hill started, and most on the west coast, southwest coast did so. So that was it. There are 1 or 2 buildings, I wouldn't put it here again, but I ran out of time because I still work.
It's just the sheer ambitiousness of the layout in your mind, and the sheer scale of it is enormous. I mean, you had that in your mind right from the start,
yeah.
Did you?
Oh yes, yeah. I wanted to create something which wasn't. I tell you what, I'm interrupting myself, but I tell you the problem with a lot of layouts, and as far as I can concern, is that they try to get too much in. You'll have a circus with a coal mine, with a house on fire and a group of people watching, and this is very appropriate to a lot of German bands. They're into lovely cameo scenes, but there's no gap. And if I remembered my holidays, not, as I said, not in Cornwall, I didn't go, but when I looked at photographs, and when I remembered my holidays in Porthcawl and on the south coast, beaches weren't always that crowded because there's massive desolation with some barbed wire that had been left from the Second World War. And to me that was the attraction of it, the desolate areas. And so that's what I thought would be nice if there was no real beach with lots of people, but a small cove and a little promontory. And looking on the map, we found this name, and that's all it is, called Penhallick Point. Sometimes spelt with a K, sometimes just with a C. And that, to my mind, became a very Cornish name to associate with a small town.